Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in 1 minute. Please take this time to silence all cell phones and electronic devices and make your way to your seats. Good morning, everybody. My name is Captain Chadwick Hyder, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the Military Science Department to the 2025 Maverick Battalion Commissioning Ceremony. We are honored by the presence of friends and families of the commissionees. Please feel free to take time to take photos during the ceremony. As much as this is a very important day for those of you who are represented here, I want you to know that don't let the seriousness of the day take away from the small moments you want to enjoy. So during the ceremony, I'll allow you time to take photos and embrace each other on the stage, okay? So know that this is a great ceremony for great things, but also it's a time for you to just enjoy these moments. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise for the entrance of the official party, and please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation by Reverend Grady St. Dennis.
Thank you for the honor of being a part of this celebration this morning. As we're gathered here today, let us now bow our heads in reverence and gratitude. Gracious and almighty God, source of all strength and wisdom, we come before you at this solemn moment of commissioning. Bless these second lieutenants of the United States Army as they embark on their noble calling to serve and protect. Grant them courage in the face of adversity, compassion in times of need, and wisdom in their decision-making. May they always uphold the values of honor, integrity, and duty as they lead and inspire those under their command. Surround them with your guiding presence as they step forward into the unknown. And may they find solace in knowing that they carry the hopes and prayers of a grateful nation. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. At this time, the Professor of Military Science will address the cadets. Please be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and soon-to-be second lieutenants out there. Before we begin, please join me in recognizing some key individuals who made today possible. From our schools, MNSU President Edward Inch, Provost David Hood, Dean of College of Education, Mavita, and from Gustavus Adolphus, Dr. Brenda Kelly, and our partners at Bethany Lutheran College who are attending their own commencement at this time. From the Army, Colonel Austin Cruz, Commander of 3rd Brigade, CSM Kyle Keenan, Command Sergeant Major Kyle Keenan. We also recognize the hundreds of donors who have generously supported our cadets through the MNSU Cadet Fund and endowments. A special thank you to Mr. Dale Darrow. Your commitment made possible the scholarships we've awarded over the last 2 years. We're also deeply grateful to the Larson and Fontaine families and to the MNSU Foundation for their continued support. To our cadre and staff, thank you for your daily dedication and mentorship. Majors Mergen and Young, Captains Heaney and Hyder, Master Sergeants Coughlin and Cumlin, Sergeants First Class Fontaine, Mr. Tom Hipskind, Colonel retired, Mr. Randy Herman, Lieutenant Colonel retired, Mr. Mark Harriet, Major retired, Mr. Jeff D., Chief Warrant Officer 4 retired, Ms. Chris Boyce and Ms. Paula Anzares, both Army veterans who achieved the NCO rank. This class of 2025 now joins 569 Maverick cadets who earned their commission before them from this school. But they have taken the battalion to a new height. In January, the Maverick Battalion was named #1 in 3rd Brigade, outperforming 40 universities across 11 states. Yes, that includes the other university in this state that Dr. Inch likes to refer to as the one with an odd shade of brown. This recognition came in the form of the General Douglas MacArthur Award, and this class earned every bit of it. Class of 2025, you brought this honor home through your commitment, competence, and character. Commitment. You finished what you started. You put others first. You woke up at 03:30 in the morning for field training, 04 for PT tests and workouts, 05 for routine PT 3 days a week after week, year after year. You chose discomfort so others might be led well, and you left this program better than you found it. You are ready to lead. Competence. You mastered the Army Leader Requirements Model. You trained in rain, snow, ice, and heat. Through Thursday labs, weekend exercises, and nearly 40 days of intense evaluation at Fort Knox. You spent countless hours learning how to balance the art and science of leadership and prove that you have what it takes. You are ready. Character. You lived the Army values when it was hard, when others left the program, and when no one was looking. Now you are entrusted with the lives and futures of America's sons and daughters in uniform. You are ready. Above all, you embody the virtue that matters most, fidelity. Fidelity is higher than bravery, deeper than intellect. It is steadfast loyalty to the country, comrades, and duty. It's the moral compass instilled in you by your parents or that special person who raised you. It's the quality your spouse, your fiance, your closest friend sees in you even when you can't. Is the virtue that will keep you grounded in peace and unshakable in war. So, congratulations, class of 2025. You've earned the rank, you've earned the respect, and I know you will well and faithfully serve the American people. Go Gusties, go Vikings, go Mavs, this will defend.
Thank you, Colonel Murray, for your remarks. At this time, I'd like to introduce our distinguished guest and speaker for today, Brigadier General Simon Schaefer. Brigadier General Schaefer has a bachelor's degree in zoology from North Dakota State University, a master's degree in public safety, executive leadership from St. Cloud State University, and a master's degree in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College, and is a certified emergency manager through the Minnesota Homeland Security Emergency Management Department. His military education includes Air Defense Officer Basic Course, Infantry Captain's Career Course, Command and General Staff Officer Course, Executive Joint Domestic Operations Course, and U.S. Army War College. Brigadier General Schaefer is a highly decorated leader who was deployed with the 75th Ranger Regiment to Somalia in 1993, and on behalf of Operation Enduring Freedom from 2004 to 2005. Most recently, he has served as a Task Force Spartan Chief of Staff supporting Operation Spartan Shield in Kuwait, Chief of Staff for the Minnesota National Guard and Brigade Commander for 2nd IBCT in the 34th Infantry Division. He is currently serving as a director of the Joint Staff, Minnesota National Guard, dual-hatted as the Deputy Command General, Army National Guard for the Maneuver Center of Excellence at Fort Benning in Georgia. Brigadier General Schaefer is married to his wife, Shanna, and together they have 4 children. Sir, on behalf of Cadet Command 3rd Brigade, Minnesota State University Mankato RTC, the Minnesota Army National Guard, welcome to the 2025 Minnesota State University Commissioning Ceremony. Sir.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome, distinguished guests, family members, cadre, most importantly, the ROTC commissioning class of 2025. Congratulations on this special day. In addition to being commissioned today, you have a lot to be proud of as a class and as an ROTC battalion. We heard some of that from the PMS just a little bit ago, but some of it's important enough to reiterate in my remarks as well. You were very involved on campus, being positive ambassadors of the U.S. Army. Your high retention rate led 3rd ROTC Brigade for 4 years, exceeding the battalion's commissioning mission. This year's commissioning class is also the fundamental reason for winning the General Douglas MacArthur Award, previously mentioned, but again, a highlight worth mentioning twice, the best program in 2024. The award is given to the top 8 programs out of 274 nationwide that exemplify the ideals of duty, honor, and country. You were selected as the top program from 40 others in your region. The award is a great honor and a testament of how you have all lived the Army values, the Army values and the ideals put forward by General Douglas MacArthur of duty, honor, and country. Congratulations, and let's give the entire battalion a round of applause for achieving this recognition. Thank you. Today marks the end of one journey and the beginning of another. You will leave here not as cadets, but as officers in the greatest army in the world. That title, officer, is about far more than rank or authority. It's about character. It's about the people who you will be entrusted to lead. I want to share a few reflections with you today, hard-earned lessons from years of service, lessons that remain just as true today as when they were when I sat in your chairs. First, character is your foundation. You will soon carry the trust of your soldiers, your units, your nation, and their families. But that trust is not given because of the gold bar that you will wear. It's earned, and it can be just as quickly lost. Character is what you do when no one is watching. It's telling the truth when it's uncomfortable. It's standing up for what's right when it's unpopular. And it's admitting when you are wrong, even as an officer. You are going to be given increased amounts of responsibility as you progress through your officer career, however many years that will be. Along with that responsibility, become more and more autonomy to lead your soldiers and to accomplish the mission. The entire premise of this autonomy, being able to work, is built on trust and your character. Can I trust you to treat soldiers with dignity and respect, even in the harshest conditions? Will your character withstand the stress of the mission and the temperature and temptation to take shortcuts? Long after missions are complete and awards are forgotten, people will remember how you treated them, how you held yourself, and whether you lived up to the values you swore to uphold. Guard your character fiercely. It is your most valuable asset. Second, when you are a leader, you must also be a follower. Leadership is not about knowing everything. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself. There will be times when you receive orders that you don't fully understand or directions you might personally disagree with. Unless it's illegal, unethical, or immoral, you follow. You carry it out to the best of your ability. Learning to be a good follower doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. It teaches humility. It teaches teamwork. And it ensures that when you are given orders, you understand the weight that leadership places on others. If you can be a good follower, you will be a better leader. This idea was reinforced early in my career when I was attending Ranger School as a young private first class while assigned to the 3rd Ranger Battalion at Fort Benning. To advance through the phases of Ranger School, you have to pass your leadership assignments, such as platoon leader, platoon sergeant, or squad leader. It's very stressful being in a evaluated leadership position, and occasionally, thankfully not often, there will be a Ranger student acting as a spotlight Ranger, in that they only contribute and work hard when they are the ones being graded. The strength of the Ranger platoon and your leadership assignment that you will soon receive is not in how much personal attention the leader can draw upon themselves, but if they can form a team and lead them to accomplish the mission together. From my Ranger School class, being a solid team leader, which was not a graded position, could make or break most of the leaders that were being graded. The lesson is that eventually the roles are going to be reversed. How you treated others when you follow will come back to you when you lead. Third and finally, listen to your senior non-commissioned officers. If you forget everything else I say today, as a new second lieutenant, listen to your NCOs. The Army does not work because of officers alone. It works because of the strength, professionalism, and experience of the NCO Corps. Your platoon sergeant, your first sergeant, your command sergeant major, they have walked the ground you are about to walk. They have led soldiers in good times and hard times. Their wisdom will save you time and time again if you are humble to hear it. I commanded an infantry company in Afghanistan in 2004 and 5. And even while I was in command, it was essential that I listened to and trusted the NCOs with me. There was no way that I could be in all places at all times and even have the perfect information. The mission required our unit to be dispersed across a wide area and often go on multi-day missions into very rough mountains. As the officer, the commander, I was responsible for ensuring the NCOs had all the resources, the plans, the guidance they needed to be successful and keep their soldiers safe. We would talk as a team, officers and NCOs, about the mission, the risks, and the support needed. Our operations were better by having honest discussions and receiving input from the NCOs. Do not be afraid to ask them questions. Seek their advice, trust their instincts, and when you need to make a decision, weigh their counsel carefully. They are not there to work for you, they are there to work with you. Together you will lead, together you will build cohesive teams that win. Class of 2025, you are stepping into a profession that demands everything you have. Your intellect, your energy, your moral courage. You are ready. You have been tested and you have earned this moment. So lead with character, follow with humility, and listen with respect. And never forget, the strength of your leadership will not be measured in the awards you earn, but in the lives that you shape and the trust that you build. It will be your character, your humility, and your willingness to listen that will set you apart. As the late General Colin Powell once said, leadership is solving problems. The day soldiers stop bringing you their problems is the day that you have stopped leading them. Stay approachable, stay grounded, stay committed to your soldiers, and they will follow you anywhere. Congratulations, Lieutenant. Now go lead well.
Thank you, General Schaefer, for taking the time to address our cadets. Those are excellent words that I'm sure we'll all take forward with us. Now we will recognize the cadets who will soon receive their commission as officers in the United States Army. During this ceremony, you will witness several traditions cadets go through in order to begin their journey as an officer in the United States Army. I would ask that you please hold your applause for each individual cadet until we recognize them as the individual. And I'll kind of cue you in on that if you need to. The first tradition is the oath of office. This publicly binds us by our honor and commitment to certain specific obligations, namely, to serve and defend the Constitution and our way of life. Second is the pinning of the gold bars. These bars are a visible symbol of the malleability of new officers, as well as an indication of our rank as a member of the officer corps, otherwise known as the butter bar. Third is the giving and receiving of the first salute. A tradition between the new officer and a non-commissioned officer, or an NCO. It is customary for the newly commissioned officer to present a silver dollar to the first NCO to salute him or her. This tradition dates back to British colonial America and reflects the respect and confidence the new officer has in the NCO Corps. The final tradition is receipt of the written commission, in which the Secretary of the Army assigns this new lieutenant the authority to accomplish the duties and responsibilities of their appointed rank. We will now have Cadet Camden Burns come forward at this time. Cadet Burns is from Kankakee, Illinois. He has been a member of the Maverick ROTC program for 3 years while also serving the National Guard. He will graduate with a degree in business management from Minnesota State University and has served as a battalion S8 finance officer and assistant battalion S3 operations officer during his MS4 year. He will be branching quartermaster in the Minnesota Army National Guard. At this time, Second Lieutenant Burns will be sworn in by Captain Heaney.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will take this obligation freely. That I will take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. Or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully. And that I will well and faithfully. Discharge the duties of this office. Discharge the duties of this office. Of which I am about to enter, so help me God. Of which I am about to enter, so help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Burns' father, Richard Burns, and mother, Amy Burns, will pin his rank on his shoulders. Yeah. Feel free to hug, whatever you gotta do. That's right. Second Lieutenant Burns' first salute is Staff Sergeant Megan Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Camden Burns. We will now have Cadet Brady Bigglebach come forward at this time. Cadet Bigglebach is from Oak Grove, Minnesota, and he has been a member of the Maverick ROTC program for 3 years. He will graduate with a degree in Manufacturing Engineering Technology from MSU and has served as a cadet battalion commander and the S2 intelligence officer. He will be branching military intelligence into the Minnesota Army National Guard. Cadet Bigglebach will be sworn in by Captain John Thompson.
I state your name.
I, Brady Bigglebach,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
A little too tall. And that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Bigglebach's father, Bruce Bigglebach, and mother, Elisa Bigglebach, will pin his rank on his shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, providing Second Lieutenant Bigglebock's first salute is Master Sergeant Edgar Tenzing, retired.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Brady Bigglebock. We will now have Cadet Grant Bolt come forward at this time. Cadet Bolt is from Marcel, Minnesota, has been a member of the Maverick ROTC program for 3 years. He will graduate with a construction management degree from MSU. Cadet Bolt served as both Cadet Battalion's Sergeant Major and the Special Teams Advisor during his MS4 year. He is branching infantry in the Minnesota Army National Guard. Cadet Bolt will now be sworn in by Lieutenant Colonel Brian Schleiser, retired.
I state your name,
I, Grant Bolt,
having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Grant Bolt's fiancee, Brooke Odlin, father Michael Bolt, mother Tracy Bolt, brother Teddy Bolt, and sister Reagan Bolt will pin his rank on his shoulders. Anybody else want to come up here? Ladies and gentlemen, providing Second Lieutenant Bolt's first salute is Specialist Lance Brower. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Grant Bolt. We will now have Cadet Philmon Fastachian come forward at this time. Cadet Fastachian is from St. Paul, Minnesota, and he has been a part of the Maverick program for 2 years and will graduate with a degree in computer science from Gustavus Adolphus College. He has served as a Cadet Battalion S2 intelligence officer and Cadet Battalion XO during his MS4 year. He is branching cyber into the Minnesota Army National Guard. Cadet Fastachian will now be sworn in by Lieutenant Colonel Clay Murray.
Right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Philmon Fastachian,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
and and I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Fasassian's mother, Zaid Kaleta, and sister Luan Fasassian will pin his rank on his shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, providing Second Lieutenant Fasassian's first salute is Miranda Gravy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Philmon Fasassian. We will now have Cadet William Holtzel come forward at this time. Cadet Holtzel is from Canton, Minnesota, and has been a part of the program for 3 years, and he will graduate with a degree in criminal justice and law enforcement from Minnesota State University. He has served as both the platoon advisor and the cadet battalion commander during his MS4 year. He is branching active duty military intelligence. Cadet Holtzel will now be sworn in by Lieutenant Colonel Roy Van Hee, U.S. Air Force retired.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. State your name.
I, William Holtzel,
Have been appointed an officer
have been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of Second Lieutenant.
in the grade of Second Lieutenant.
So solely swear and affirm
I do solemnly swear and or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same,
That I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
And I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Roy Van Hee will pin his rank on his shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, providing Second Lieutenant Holtzel's first salute is Staff Sergeant Sean Farley Cowden. Additionally, Second Lieutenant Holtzel is being recognized as a distinguished military graduate. He placed in the top 10% of all cadets across the nation. I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, William Holtzel. We will now have Cadet Casey Jensen come forward. Cadet Jensen is from Burnsville, Minnesota, and has been a part of the ROTC program for 4 years. She'll be graduating with a degree in psychology with a minor in military science from MSU. She has served as both the Cadet Battalion's Sergeant Major and Special Teams Advisor during her MS4 year. She is branching active duty ordnance. Cadet Jensen will now be sworn in by Captain Heaney.
Raise your hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Casey Jensen,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
of which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Jensen's father, Greg Jensen, and mother, Angel Jensen, will pin her rank on her shoulders. Providing Second Lieutenant Jensen's first salute is Master Sergeant Stephen Coughlin. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Casey Jensen. We will now have Cadet Samantha Riss come forward. Cadet Riss is from Cortland, Minnesota, and has been a part of the Maverick ROTC program for 4 years. She would graduate with a degree in aviation management from MSU. She has served as a Battalion S1 Human Resources and Battalion S5 during her MS4 year. She is branching active duty Adjutant General. Cadet Riss will now be sworn in by Second Lieutenant Michelle Auga.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Samantha Rist,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Riss's father, Travis Riss, and mother, Becky Riss, will pin her rank on her shoulders. Providing Second Lieutenant Rist first salute is Tech Sergeant Travis Rist. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Samantha Rist. We will now have Ryan Tutenhagen come forward at this time. Cadet Tutenhagen is from Howard Lake, Minnesota, and has been a part of the Maverick program for 3 years and will graduate with a degree in aviation management from Minnesota State University. Cadet Tutenhagen has served as a cadet battalion assistant S3, S5, and S6 positions during his MS4 year. Cadet Tutenhagen will be branching aviation into the Minnesota Army National Guard. Cadet Tutenhagen will now be sworn in by Major Jake Vaness.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ryan Tudenhagen,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same,
That I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I am about to enter.
about which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Ryan Tutenhagen's father, David Tutenhagen, and mother, Jill Tutenhagen, will pin his rank on his shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, providing Second Lieutenant Tutenhagen's first salute is Sergeant David Reamer. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant Ryan Tutenhagen. We will now have Cadet Shua Vang come forward at this time. Cadet Vang is from Mindoro, Wisconsin. He has been in Maverick ROTC program for 2 years and will graduate with a degree in aviation professional flight from Minnesota State University. Cadet Vang has served as a Cadet Battalion S1 Human Resource Officer and the S4 during his MS4 year. Cadet Vang will be branching Adjutant General into the Minnesota Army National Guard. Cadet Vang will now be sworn in by Captain Eric Heaney.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Shua Vang,
Have been appointed an officer
have been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant.
in the grade of second lieutenant.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duty of this office
of which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Vang's father, B. Vang, and mother Yang He will pin his rank on his shoulders. Providing Second Lieutenant Vang's first salute is Staff Sergeant Evelyn Ramos. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Shua Vang. We now have Cadet Jackson Young come forward at this time. Cadet Young is from North Branch, Minnesota, and has been part of the Maverick program for 3 years. He will graduate with a degree in Applied Health Science, Bachelor of Science Pre-Occupational Therapy, with a minor in Military Science from Minnesota State University. Cadet Young has served as both a Cadet Platoon Advisor and Assistant S3 Operations Officer during his MS4 year. Cadet Young will be branching chemical into the Minnesota Army National Guard. Cadet Young will now be sworn in by Colonel Thomas Hipskin, retired.
I state your name.
I, Jackson Young,
Have been appointed an officer
have been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant.
in the grade of second
Do
lieutenant.
solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office,
discharge the duties of this office,
which I'm about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Young's father, Timothy Young, and mother Tracy Young will pin his rank on his shoulders. Providing Second Lieutenant Young's first salute is Private First Class Mason Young. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Jackson Young. We will now have Cadet Ethan Zidane come forward at this time. Cadet Zidane is from Sandy, Minnesota, has been a part of the Maverick ROTC program for 4 years. He will graduate with a degree in automotive engineering technology from Minnesota State University. Cadet Zidane has served as both the Cadet Battalion S3 and platoon advisor during his MS4 year. Cadet Zidane will be branching engineer in the Army Reserve. Cadet Zidane will now be sworn in by Colonel Thomas Hipskin, retired.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ethan Zidane,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second
in the
lieutenant,
grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, Second Lieutenant Zidane's father, Aaron Zidane, and mother, Erica Zidane, will pin his rank on his shoulders. Providing Second Lieutenant Zidane's first salute is Lance Corporal Mike George. Additionally, Second Lieutenant Zidane is being recognized as a distinguished military graduate. He placed in the top 10% of all cadets across the nation. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Army's newest Second Lieutenant, Ethan Zidane. Let's go ahead and give a big round of applause for all the newly commissioned officers of the United States Army. And I'm going to propose one more for all of you who are currently sitting in these seats who supported him along the way. At this time, please rise for the playing of the Army song, and I'd ask that you remain standing for the departure of the official party.
If you're
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the commissioning ceremony. And on behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Clay Murray and the Minnesota State University Mankato RC Maverick Battalion, thank you for your attendance and support. We truly could not do without you. A quote that sits with me, and I try to refer to the cadets, is, "You can go fast alone, or you can go further together. And it wouldn't be without you who are sitting in these seats, whether you believe it or not, that these students couldn't have accomplished this thing. And so on behalf of the department, myself, and the Minnesota Army National Guard, who I represent, and then Cadet Command, I want to thank you dearly for your support along the way. It is something that is earned, not given, and you help them every step of the way do that. So thank you very much. I want to invite you to please continue in the hallway and outside to take photos. It's a beautiful Minnesota day, so it could change like that. Who knows? Could be snow in the next hour. But please feel free to mingle and hang around here. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm gonna ask the cadets hang out for a second. We want to take a photo. We gotta do that thing, you know. Let's take a photo real quick, and then you guys can get with your families. So I get the lieutenants up here. Can't say cadet.